Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous material on the subject of my special order.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, we are focused on federal student loans. This global pandemic, which is very much still with us, has been hard on Americans in so many ways. One source of relief the federal government has been able to provide is the pause on federal student loan payments. That pause is scheduled to end after January, and tens of millions of Americans will have to resume monthly payments on their loans. Millions of people will yet again be faced with terrible choices between paying off their loans and putting food on the table, or paying for childcare, or paying medical bills. Student debt is a national crisis. It was a crisis before the COVID-19 pandemic, and it is an even bigger one now. I can't think of a better opportunity to cancel student loan debt. Today, over 40 million borrowers owe a combined $1.8 trillion in loans, and the share of people who are able to make payments high enough to reduce their principal balance has been rapidly declining. That means for years, people have been doing all they can to make monthly payments, but can only afford to keep up with the interest that accrues. So if someone took out a $30,000 loan to go to a public state university, but can only afford the minimum monthly payments to cover interest, they can be paying hundreds of dollars every month for years without seeing the total amount they owe go down at all. In fact, many borrowers see their debt increase because they can't even keep up with the interest. Far too often, it can take a borrower over a decade to pay off their loans, and many borrowers end up defaulting because they simply cannot make ends meet with such high payments. This can have lasting impacts on a person's financial, mental, and physical health, which taken all together makes it harder for people to fully participate in the economy over the long term. For example, you can't get a small business association loan if you have defaulted on any loan in the past 7 years. So many of our family members, friends, and neighbors face additional barriers to starting businesses because of student debt. They face additional barriers to save for retirement, buying homes, taking care of their health and putting off doctor's visits or necessary prescriptions, starting families, or pursuing a career they are passionate about. Students took these risks in their pursuit of the American dream through obtaining a college degree. Students across America are doing exactly what we asked them to do. Work hard, study and learn deeply, grow your mind, develop your skills, and expand your worldview. Students across America took these steps because we told them that education, particularly higher education, would be the great equalizer. We told them their hard work would open doors for the rest of their lives. Instead, we have shut those doors in their faces, one by one. And we have disproportionately done this to Black and Latino, Indigenous, and poor students. We have preyed upon our most vulnerable kids. The student debt crisis is a racial justice issue, and we cannot talk about the problem nor the solutions without centering the experiences of students and families of color and others who come from marginalized communities. Canceling student debt would mean putting money back into people's pockets and improving the overall economy. This is money that can be used to pay for child care so that parents can re-enter the workforce and actually use the degree they went into debt for in the first place. This is money that can be used to start a business or buy a house or pay for necessary health care. This newfound freedom will open the door to pursue a passion or purpose like teaching, nursing, or public service, rather than one that just pays the bills. This freedom will improve one's quality of life and provide the self-determination necessary for quality long-term planning. Canceling student debt would go a long way in reducing the racial wealth gap and the racial home ownership gap, and would help address many of the systemic barriers Black and brown families face. It is time to cancel this predatory student debt to give the American people a fresh start and accelerate both the economic and social well-being of our nation. Our predatory debt is an unfair and unjust burden that has been hanging over the heads of borrowers since they decided to pursue an education. That is why I, along with many members you will hear tonight, have been calling on President Biden to use his executive authority to cancel federal student loans. This authority is already being used right now to cancel the interest owed on all federal student loans during the pandemic. Now it's time to use that same authority to cancel all federal student debts. And now I am pleased to yield to my other colleagues who will highlight the many ways canceling student loan debt is urgently needed. I would like to yield to my friend, the gentlewoman from Washington State, Ms. Jayapal, to address this House on this very important issue.
Thank you so much, my colleague, Representative Bowman, for your incredible leadership.